Welcome back guys, GTS Garage. Today we are going to look at fitting the crash bars to the Triumph Trophy. Now this is a 2014 Triumph Trophy 1250 or 1200. This is not the SE model, but I don't believe there are that many differences between the two models that would require additional work to kind of fit these bars. I think it's going to be fairly standard on both. It is going to unfortunately require the removal of the fairing on the front, which it always does, and that's probably going to be the most painful part. Hopefully I don't live to regret that statement. So let's crack on and let's see where the difficulties lie. So next step is to remove it from the bubble wrap, and I'm not going to do a 15-minute segment of me opening everything on there and showing every little bit and placing it on wood or anything. That's not a dig at anybody, I'm just not going to do it. Once again, saving battery time. So just a case of undoing it and then cracking on. Okay, so what do you get for your £350? You get two of those, you get two of those, you get two of those, you get 6 bolts, 7 bolts, 2 nuts, 7 washers, 8 washers, 9 washers, and 26 pages of instructions. So don't bother downloading it off the internet. You do get them for free in the package. Quick run over the tools needed. You are going to need a 16, 17 and 19mm socket and wrench. You're also going to need a set of Allen keys to include a 5 and 6mm AF sizes. Okay. So that's them, so that's the tools. Make sure you've got all the tools before you start a job, otherwise you'll end up with what I normally do, and that is have to run to Halfords halfway through, and that's just crap when everything's apart. first one is that doesn't come out. You just knock that one 10mm the other side, maximum of 10mm the other side, so just knock it through with something of your choice. I won't recommend anything here, so knock that one through 10mm, but don't take it out. And the second one is going to be here, and this is not in the correct order, so don't start taking things out this order. I'm just showing you the points of interest. Next one is that one, and then we go around to the other side of the bike. And the next one is going to be on the right hand side of the bike, is this one here. A lot easier to get to, as you can see. Again, there is a nut on the other side of that. But yeah, I found this one was a pig. And this is a 16mm, I believe. Sorry, this is a 17mm. So all we're going to do is take this nut off. Again, don't do what I do, but okay, let's knock that one back through by about 10mm. We'll go and check that around the other side. And as you can see there, that's the one. Okay, so that's about 10mm out. Okay, so when it comes to getting these, I've lost me. Right, so basically this is a hose, so you can actually kind of just put a long bar in there, leave it up, and you get a little bit of play in there. You're going to need a 17 on the back, just to hold it straight after a while, and take the nut off, and then we can remove this by lifting that up. We then take the what did I do with that? What have I done with that? Taking the new one supplied and a washer, we can put that, I think is there. That's strange, in as much as I would expect. Let's see where that goes. So what we need to do is put the new one through, and then lift that up again. That's it. It's that part there. There you go. And then push that through to the end, and then using the same as directed, just get our hands in there and start that off. Very fiddly, as you would expect, because that's the way of these things. There you go. Now you're not supposed to do these up tight to start with, just fairly loose so you've got some movement there. I think that's one, that's probably loose enough. And then we go around to the other side. So your next bolt is on the left hand side, so once you've secured the other side, you come back to the left hand side, and the bolt you're going to need, now the best thing to do is just unwrap this so you can bring this down and push this up, and you can just see the bolt in there. So that's the next one that comes out. You are going to need breaker bars for all the bolts, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but got some flexibility because everything is wire harness and actually tube, so come a point where the front and the back are spinning exactly the same, so you're going to need to put a spanner on the back. Let's just squeeze that one in there. Yeah, you're going to need to put a spanner on the back of that one. So let's go and get one of them. Okay, so both sides are done. Now, in the spirit of transparency, I have had to put the bolt through from outside, from inside to out, and when I took it out, it was obviously outside to in, with the nut being on this side. I've had to change that round because I just could not get that bolt in with these two, with the pressure of this stand pushing these things up. There's just no way I could get anything in there. I couldn't get the bolt in, and so I've had to do it the other way around. So you may take all this apart, you know, that may be one way of doing it, is to taking this hose off the radiator and taking that off, and that will give you a little bit more room to do it. You might be able to do it that way, well, you probably would be able to do it that way, but that's not what I've done. So this is what I've done for now. If I ever come to change this hose, then I shall put it back. I shall put it back the way it was supposed to be. But yeah, so for complete transparency, you can do, when you do yours, you know that bolt's going to be a pig, and you know you may have to take this off, but I haven't. Right, let's go around the other side. Okay, so both of these now have been tightened up to 40 Newton meters, and we've put the spanning bar in. So the spanning bar basically just comes up. Don't tighten up too tight, otherwise you're not going to be able to put it in both sides. So we're just going to just get those in nice and loose on both sides, and then we're going to tighten up both sides respectively. So okay, so just going to hold the bar in place, and on this side screw it nice and tight. There you go. And then we're going to go around the other side. And just do this one up nice and tight as well. There you go. That's the bar done. Okay, so once you're at that point, when you're at the point where you've put both sides on, you've tightened them up, you've put the spanning bar across, you've tightened those up, you are now ready to put the bike almost back together again. Okay, so with that back on now, we're going to tighten these up. So I'm going to be honest with you, just okay, that's one done, and two done. There you go. Remembering to tuck that part into here. I'm going to tuck the end of that into there. We're now going to bang that one through so we can put the other side on. So that's her done. I'm a bit mixed feelings, to be honest. Bit mixed feelings, to be honest. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So these are now in, and you look, that's fine, not a problem at all. And you can take a look through, so you can see the bolt in there, so you can just make sure that's nice and tight after a couple of days. This one down there is a closed loop, so let me just do this. So unlike the other one, the other side, it's an open fork. That one's a closed loop, which means every time you've got to take this off, get back to that. Okay guys, another one done. As I said, a bit of a mixed bag of emotions on this one. So the the first big bag of emotions is the fact the cost. The cost of these bars is insane for what they are. So the only makers at the moment that I can find, and I believe that has changed, but I will go back to that. The only maker that, when I looked at these, the only maker that I could find was R&G, and they are obviously trying to recoup their cost of design. But I will stand by the fact that £399 for a set of adventure bars is an insane price. I don't know what other makes are, but I have, let me go back, I have put adventure bars on all my other bikes, and they've always come in about the £200–220 mark. These are £399, which is a lot of money for what they are. The second part I kind of sticks in my craw is the fact that that left-hand side is almost impossible to put, well, it is impossible to put that bolt in and attach that without turning that bolt round, unless you remove the radiator hose and potentially unclip elements of that wiring loom, and that turns it into a far bigger job. So I will say now, I've put the bar in the other way round and it works, but I will also say that's not me telling you to do that. If you know, the risk is on me by putting that, changing that direction of that bolt in that front left-hand side. And there will come a time when I will change the hoses and do everything else as they start to perish. And when that happens, I will remove that hose and I will turn that bolt round. And that risk is on me. Again, I'm not saying that you should be doing that. So between that and the cost, it kind of leaves me with a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. The only other thing I will say is they do give you a secondary bar. Now, this is not the spanning bar, so this is the spanning bar underneath is black. This one is more of a chrome finish. This bar is a replacement bar for that back engine mount. And the reason is, and the instructions make it absolutely clear when you need to use it and when you don't need to use it, and it's surrounding the centre, centre stand. And if you have a centre stand plate, please read the instructions. If you require it, it tells you need it. It gives you the engine number, and it tells you what, if you have this, you need to use this additional bar. Now, looking at the amount of thread on the outside of the bolt at the back, given the fact I've not got that many threads on the outside of that bolt, I would suggest that probably I did need to use this. I've not done it at the moment, and I realise that is also a risk. I've torqued it up to 80, and I suggest you always use a torque wrench to do your bolts up when securing, and always use new washers. So what I will do is my pre-ride checks, I will always check that and make sure that that is still tight. And if I see a sign of movement or it loosening with vibration as I ride, I will put the longer bar in. But for now, that's as much as I am going to do. So I hope you found that useful. You can see it's not pictures are always one thing. I've put a load of pictures in to take, you know, the fairing off and everything else. Pictures are fine, but they don't kind of convey what the process is actually like. So hopefully by seeing it in video, you can see that it's, you know, it's a couple of hours work. There are difficulties, very finicky, tight spaces, but it gives you a better overview. Before you dosh out 399 quid for these bars, at least it gives you an option to, or an opportunity to see what's actually involved. I hope that's been helpful. You take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I shall see you at some kind of rally, because I will be going to a lot this year. You take it easy. Bye-bye.